Before you can lead an army into battle, you must first learn the 9 principles of the art of war, written by the famous warrior and philosopher Sun Tzu. His teachings come to us from ancient books, and his infinite wisdom about warfare and military tactics still apply to this day. I will guide you and teach you these most important lessons, Commander. Listen very well. Sun Tzu teaches us not only how to engage our enemies, but also how to manage logistics. An army cannot fight without the proper supplies. Without food, arrows, and arms, an army cannot stand its ground. In the words of Sun Tzu, bring war material with you from home, but forage in enemy territory. Then the army will have enough food to survive. Let us see if you understand this advice.
As you're growing your civilization, it's important to start off on the right foot. A thriving early economy will allow you to reach the feudal age in a strong position from which you can continue to grow and ably battle your opponent. We'll start off with gathering food from our sheep. It is important to note that all animals decay while you harvest food from them. Make sure not to kill all of your animals at once. We'll focus all our villages on a single sheep, and once they are done, move them all together to the next one. This minimizes food decay. When gathering resources, it's important not to lose too much time walking to the nearest gather point. Make sure to place your mills, lumber camps, mining camps, and town centers close to resources. You can also queue up multiple tasks for your villages by holding down the shift key when assigning tasks. This is a new feature in the Definitive Edition. The last lesson is a dangerous one, so pay attention. Boars are difficult to hunt. They are far away and fight back fiercely when you try to hunt them. However, it is possible to lure a boar to your town center and kill it safely. Before we do this, we might want to research Loom in the town center, as it makes our villages much stronger. Next, select one villager, then right click on a nearby boar to go hunt it. Watch closely as the villager shoots it twice. Now that the boar is properly aggravated and is charging at the villager, task your villager to run back to the safety of your town center. Once the boar is close to the town center, have other nearby villagers shoot the boar to kill it. Excellent. Dinner is served.
As your army grows, so do your responsibilities. Not only must you look after your soldiers, but also after their families. It is of great importance that your people are fed, that your population grows, and that your towns increase in size. Sun Tzu says, the command of a large force is the same principle as the command of a few men. It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers. An army is only as strong as the economy that supports it. A large army requires a large population and a surplus of food, gold, and other resources. Show me that you understand this important lesson.
Booming is a common strategy for team games, especially on closed maps such as Black Forest or Arena. It means building a strong economy before a powerful military. Booming makes you vulnerable until you reach the Imperial Age, but if executed properly, this strategy will allow you to overwhelm your enemies with large armies. The key to booming is ensuring constant production of villages. Ideally, about half of your total population rooms should be in villages. To achieve this, you must build multiple town centers and ensure that they are always training new villagers. This requires a large amount of resources, especially food and wood, so finding the right balance will be important. You can also improve the resource gathering rate of your villages by researching economic technologies at the town center, lumber camp, mill, and mining camp. These technologies are important, so do not ignore them. Apply these lessons, and your empire will bloom.
Sometimes you will face an enemy stronger than yourself. Be like a wrestler who is smaller than his opponent. He does not meet his opponent's strength with his own, but instead looks for his enemy's weakness. So too must you learn to strike your enemy where he is vulnerable, and cut his supply lines before you can meet strength with strength. Here is the virtue in raiding. On this subject, Sun Tzu advises, The impact of your army should be like a grindstone dashed against an egg. This is achieved through the knowledge of weak and strong points. Be relentless, because the enemy will be relentless as well. Now, show me what you have learned.
Early attacks, also called rushes, are often a cat and mouse game. You can harass the enemy economy by sending military units to attack enemy villages. If the villagers fight back, or enemy soldiers arrive, you should retreat with your units and seek better opportunities. Try to pick off any weak or separated villages instead of going for large groups. That way, you'll do the most damage while sustaining the least losses. Do not chase villages when they are too close to the town centre. You will risk losing several units. The best of luck to you.
You are not the only one who will be raiding. Your opponent will not hesitate to attack you when and where you are weakest. Therefore, you must use your skills to defend your people and train your peasants to defend themselves. Hence, that general is skillful in attack whose opponent does not know what to defend, and he is skillful in defense whose opponent does not know what to attack. Sun Tzu wrote, "Show strength where you are weak. Wherever the enemy attacks, show him that you are ready to repel his soldiers. Be ready and prepared, Commander, because now it is up to you."
The enemy player will usually not stand idle while you build your empire. Learning how to maintain growth while under pressure from the enemy attacks is vital to your empire's survival. As you can see, your base is surrounded by impassable objects such as trees, mines, and forest bushes. These will act as a natural barrier between your units and those of the enemy. However, in between them are gaps which your enemy can advance through. To defend your base, you will have to use villagers to build walls, gates, and buildings to close these gaps, like this. When the enemy sends in their military units, your top priority is to protect your villagers. Ringing the bell of your town centre is an option, but it will paralyze your economy. Instead, just garrison the villages that are in immediate danger. A watchtower will offer both protection for your villagers and defense for your base. Make sure enemy units can't get within one tile of your tower, however. Your towers cannot shoot at adjacent units until you research murder holes in the Castle Age. Pre-Castle Age units like militia, men-at-arms, spearmen, scout cavalry, archers, and skirmishers are not strong enough to destroy a base on their own. Instead, they are used to harass and kill enemy villages to deal damage to the enemy's economy. During such an early rush, it is possible to fight back. If you have more villages than the enemy has military units, or you have military units of your own, use them to fight the invaders. Focus on the enemy's units with low HP first. Villagers do not fight automatically, so you will need to manage them carefully. I hear an enemy is approaching. Go to the challenge and fend off their attack.
As your army grows, so do your responsibilities. Not only must you look after your soldiers, but also after their families. It is of great importance that your people are fed, that your population grows, and that your towns increase in size. Sun Tzu says, "The command of a large force is the same principle as the command of a few men. It is merely a question of dividing up their numbers." An army is only as strong as the economy that supports it. A large army requires a large population and a surplus of food, gold, and other resources. Show me that you understand this important lesson. A good commander must learn to be decisive in war. Hesitation or mistakes can mean the difference between victory and defeat. Just as a soldier practices his spear thrusts, so too must a commander learn to be efficient and repeat tasks until he knows them by heart. Sun Tzu says, "A clever fighter wins his battles by making no mistakes." Making no mistakes is what establishes the certainty of victory, for it means conquering an enemy that is already defeated. Few generals make it this far. Let us see if you are one of them.
One of the most common strategies in multiplayer games is the fast castle age. Today you will learn to execute a particular build order for this. A build order is a set of instructions to be strictly followed in order to guarantee the most efficient gameplay. They are quite common in multiplayer games, so research them in your free time. First of all, it is very important to never leave your town centre idle. Check your town centre regularly to see if a villager is being trained. If not, use the Go to Town Centre hotkey to jump over to your town centre and click the Create Villager button to train or queue up another villager. If you do not have enough food, force your villagers gathering food to drop off their resources. Use the rally flag in your town centre to tell your town centre to send new villagers to a resource or construction site on completion, or when garrisoned. When villagers are newly created, or when they finish a task, they can go idle. Keep an eye on the idle indicator on the top panel and click on it to use the idle villager hotkey to cycle between idle villagers and send them back to work. Remember, build orders are a great way to get better at the game, but do not forget to strategize. Not one game is the same, so you'll often need to think outside the box. Good luck!
Excellent! You have mastered every lesson that I had to teach. Remember the words of Sun Tzu and his teachings about the art of war, and you will win many battles. Or in the words of the wise philosopher warrior, if you know the enemy and you know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles.